In June, Netflix dropped a trailer for their new romance film, My Oxford Year.
Welcome to the University of Oxford.
We have a student all the way from
New York.
New York, New York. Welcome, welcome.
I watched this trailer when it came out and it was quite shocking to me. And when the film released in early August, I sat down to watch it and I was even more shocked. I was so taken aback by how deranged the romance dynamic in this film is, and how the film is obviously an Americanized version of what they think Oxford is. Oh, and there's a twist ending as well. You're not ready for the twist. You might think you are, but you're not.
I go back to New York soon. That was always the plan.
I find myself watching this and thinking, is this Harry and Meghan's fault? Is this Harry and Meghan fan fiction? It really feels like that. Was this written by the weird lady who interviewed Meghan Markle on that podcast?
Did I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you?
I have full body chills right now.
Is this her fantasy? The film My Oxford Year is based on a book of the same name. The original writer of the book is actually an actress who has had some roles in some Lifetime movies, and this book is her debut novel. From my understanding, the book is one of those books that is made with a film in mind, so it was always the plan to have a film adaptation of this book. I have seen a lot of poor reviews of the book. I really don't think anyone is missing out by not reading this book. To be real, this film is so bad, and I can't imagine what the book is like. I dread to think. I'm gonna split this video into two different sections because I have two very different distinct problems with this film. We will talk about the relationship between the two characters, which I have seen quite a lot of backlash over because, I mean, spoiler alert, this is a student and teacher relationship. Yeah, if this film wasn't as funny as it was, I think I'd actually be concerned right now. But let's start with the main reason why this film personally offends me, which is...
I just love being surrounded by books. I just think there's no better smell in the world than the smell of old books.
The lens in which this film views the UK feels like it's very much based off of a Pinterest board of Oxford University photos. This film is made by Americans for Americans to fulfill this kind of tourist dream of Oxford. The narrative thread throughout this whole film is that Anna, our main character, she is settling down in the magical kingdom of Oxford because she wants to study poetry.
Studying Victorian poetry at the University of Oxford.
Because she's such a dreamer. I love poetry. As you can probably tell by the title of the film, Anna is only in Oxford for 1 year. She doesn't really need the university. She has a job offer that she has deferred from Goldman Sachs, which is such an extremely odd, specific detail that the film keeps pushing on us. There's Goldman Sachs stuff everywhere, and every time they mention that she has a job, she's like, I got a job at Goldman Sachs. It's like they're name dropping Goldman Sachs every time. It feels almost like a product placement. Was this film funded by Goldman Sachs? Maybe after university she'll be working with Rishi Sunak, you know? We never know. So the whole plot is pinned on this idea that Anna is going to Oxford not because she needs a degree to get a job. She already has a job. She's treating Oxford University like an extended holiday.
A year to live my dream.
And already this is extremely annoying because this doesn't represent anyone in university right now. I'm sure everyone in Oxford University is stressing the hell out because they're trying to get a job with their poetry degree. And to have the main character just waltz on in with the perfect job already so she doesn't have to worry about anything. She just gets to live her Oxford dream.
A year to live my dream.
It's a very easy cheat to avoid writing any kind of struggle for your character when you have them in the perfect position already as the film starts. Anna doesn't have to worry about anything. She has loads of money already, she has a perfect job, she's going to this perfect university with no struggle at all. They just treat Oxford University like it's Hogwarts or something. As soon as she goes in, there's an old man at a podium being like, welcome to Oxford University.
Welcome to the University of Oxford.
And yes, Oxford is a very beautiful, picturesque place to study. Beautiful architecture, beautiful libraries. We'll get to the libraries. That's a very interesting scene. But this main character just has her head in the clouds the whole time. There's a moment in the film where she walks into her dorm room and she literally walks around like this.
A year to live my dream.
So after Anna drops all her stuff off at her dorm room, she goes out and explores the town a little bit and she gets drenched. It's a classic rom-com moment. Oh, what a jerk! I'm all wet on my first day of Oxford University. She then goes into a fish and chip shop and she goes up to the man at the counter and she can't understand a thing that this man is saying because this character is literally just going, "You want Anglican chips? Lassie peas, do you want?" And she's like, "What? No, I want fish and chips. I want fish and chips."
I would like to order some fish and chips, please.
A duck?
A duck? No.
Now we've introduced one of my main problems with this film. The way it writes British people. As we get a bit more used to, you know, the British whimsy and the beautiful surroundings of Oxford, we get introduced to the various British people that Anna befriends and, you know, all the miscellaneous British characters in the background, like this fish and chip man.
Or cod? Or Savoy?
And all of these British characters are such caricatures. It's just so funny to me. Maybe it was the makers of the film who were forcing these actors to like crank up their accents to 11. Is it fish and chips you want? Was that good?
No, sorry, I'm not really getting that you're British.
No, I understand. Yeah, I've got you. Yeah.
What do you want, love? Onion chips, do ya?
As Anna is ordering her fish and chips, this extremely like pompous, rich Oxford man walks in with his presumed girlfriend and says, "Yeah, can we get some fish and chips and some mushy peas, please?" Obviously, he's a lot more well-spoken than the fish and chip man.
Or Savoy?
Anna then realises that this posh man who's just walked in, who's parked his car out front, was actually the man who ran over that puddle earlier and drenched her. And then she gets all angry and she's like, oh, screw you, you bellend.
Yeah, you're the bellend. You drenched me with your car.
Oh.
Anna, you've been in Oxford for 5 minutes and you're already trying to use the British slang. What we doing? As Anna gets to her poetry class, there is a last minute change. The professor that they thought was going to teach the class can no longer do it. So the class is going to be taught by a doctorate student. And as that doctorate student walks in, we realise that the new teacher is the arrogant posh guy that she just had an argument with. Again, a classic rom-com moment.
Oh God, it's that guy I called a bellend earlier.
So this is the whole crux of the film. It's a hate turned love relationship, and yes, she's dating her teacher. It's weird. I'm saving that for the next section. Also, I should say that this man's name is Jamie Davenport. The other characters in this film are Anna's friends that she makes when she's at Oxford. Like, as soon as Anna sits down, she sits next to a British girl who then goes,
Hello, my name is...
insert generic English sounding name here.
What, you're from America? That's great, I've never been to America.
And okay, Anna's other friend is like this horribly outdated stereotype of like the gay best friend who honestly has some of the worst lines in the film. I do feel bad for the actor who has to portray this character. Like, as soon as we meet him, he does that thing of like, oh, you're gonna wear those shoes? No, wait, he's not American, he's British. Oh, you're going to wear those shoes, are you? And the rest of the time, this gay best friend character just makes like sex jokes the whole time. He walks in like, oh, I had a loveless summer holiday. And as soon as Jamie, the poetry teacher, walks in, this character says this line, which is so crazy. He says, now that is a serious bit of crumpet.
Okay, now that is a serious bit of crumpet.
So, as this is my...
There's so much with this line. Okay, first of all, the gay best friend character being like flirty the whole time is just so... It was a cliche like 20 years ago and we're still doing it. But also, no one has ever said like crumpet in that way. That's a serious bit of crumpet.
Now that is a serious bit of crumpet.
Like, I don't want to say that this line is racist because I wouldn't go that far. But it would be like if you had like a gay Korean character and they went, now that is a serious bowl of kimchi. I saw the crumpet line in the trailer, and that is immediately what put this film like on my radar. And it's probably the main reason why I'm making this video, to be honest. There are a few more British characters that Anna meets and befriends throughout her year at Oxford, and it feels like the film like saw all the rom-coms in the 90s where there's like a group of like British best friends, like Four Weddings and a Funeral and Notting Hill and all that stuff. It's like they saw that and went, let's try and do that, but let's do it really bad. The thing that makes those characters so good in those classic rom-coms is like they were written by British people, so they're not writing them like caricatures, they're writing them like normal people. And this film is just so insane with the way it writes its characters. In this film, like every male character has like a bumbling Hugh Grant kind of thing going on. This film really wants to do like a Richard Curtis style thing, but it just can't. It's trying really hard. As the kids say, they're trying to reheat Richard Curtis's nachos. Apparently the original writer of the book did in fact go to Oxford and base the book on her own experiences. But these characters are so unlike any British person I've ever met that I'm starting to question everything. There's this extended sequence in the film where Anna's British group of friends find out that she's never been to a pub before, and they do this whole like grandiose speech to her. They say this line, "Pubs are like churches. We consider them sacred and attend them religiously." All while they're giving this speech as well, there's like people fencing in the background. Like you might as well put, you know, one of the Queen's Guards and, you know, a Victorian orphan boy selling papers in the background as well. Like just add a little bit of a British spice, you know, to the background. Later on in the pub, Anna's British friend confesses that she has a crush on another one of Anna's generic British friends, and she says, "I think he's the dog's bollocks." No one has ever spoken like this, I'm sorry. It's just not happened. You know, all those like British slang BuzzFeed videos where, you know, British people read British slang, they're just lying to you. Like university students are not going around spouting out Cockney rhyming slang. Apples and pears, dog's bollocks. Oh, cool, blimey. No one speaks like this. No one. There's another really funny moment where like at some point Anna goes to the toilet and she says, "I'm just going to the bathroom." And then her British friend goes, "Sorry, no, wait, don't you mean loo?" "Yeah, sorry, the loo."
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. The loo. The loo.
British people say bathroom. You don't need to correct someone saying bathroom. We say bathroom. That really bugs me. That really, you can tell it's really got on my nerves. Also in the pub, we're introduced to this new element of the plot, which is like, okay, so Anna being like the only American in the pub, everyone's like looking at her and like talking to her saying, "Oh my God, an American person at Oxford? That's such a novelty." They're treating Anna like the only foreign person that they've ever seen ever. It's giving the main character this kind of storyline of being like an underdog, being like semi-marginalized because she's American. And it's also very funny when you think about how many Americans actually go to Oxford. It's quite a lot. People that go to Oxford University have seen American people before. You know, in fact, there's swarms of them. There's swarms of American people all over Oxford. Get them out. That's what I say. Get the Americans out. Also, having this one American girl in a pub filled with people who are obsessed with her is really funny when you think about how the book was literally written by an American woman. So it's literally, "Yes, I went to Oxford and everyone was obsessed with me." Yeah. There's this really cringy bit in the pub where a like drunk guy goes up to Anna and is like lecturing her about America, saying like, "Oh, you should really have more gun control." And like American people are so arrogant. And like then he calls her Miss Diversity Quota and is like, "Oh, Miss Mexico over here." And he's saying that Anna took the spot of someone who is more well deserving of her spot in Oxford, which I low-key kind of agree with because she doesn't need the degree, but whatever. And this whole bit is less about the fact that she's Mexican. I don't know how this guy in a pub would know that her like mum is Mexican. It's all more to do with the fact that she's American, you know. It's American racism. I'm gonna stand up for American racism. After Anna angrily walks out of the pub, she is followed by Jamie, her poetry teacher, and they kind of hit it off, and he shows her like a hidden spot to get a kebab. They treat this whole kebab bit as if it's like a hidden secret, as if it's like an Anthony Bourdain style like exotic food experience. Like Anna is holding this kebab and she's like, where do I even start? You say I eat it with my hands? Oh, and then I have to lick it off my fingers? Do you not have any utensils? I can't get my mouth around this. Like, she's from New York. Has she never had street food before? You've never eaten a bit of street food with your hands? This bit with the kebab reminds me a lot of this one clip of Lena Dunham explaining like her favourite things in London. And she says, going under a bridge to hide from the rain in front of a kebab shop, that's romance in London.
We were like, can we move it to another day? And they were like, this is really the only day that we have the actors. And so it ended up just like being under a bridge in front of a kebab shop. But you know what? That was actually like more pure London than seeing London. Like standing under a bridge, waiting for the rain to end in front of a kebab shop is romance in London.
As someone who has sadly lived in England their whole life, I just find it very funny how Americans come over and like romanticize the most mundane stuff, like even a kebab. You simply just can't have a scene where two perfectly looking, extremely rich Oxford students are having a kebab. Like, where's the drunk 40-year-old man staggering up to the till asking, "Can I get a doner kebab? Yeah, can I get a doner, please?" As he's ordering, he's probably actively pissing himself as well. Like, where's that? That is English culture. And my culture is not a costume. Netflix. I always see a lot of Instagram reels where it's like American tips of going to England, and they say stuff like, here's 3 hidden spots to visit in England for any date night. Number 1, Hampstead Heath. Number 2, the Ivy Cafe. Number 3, the London Eye. I see that kind of stuff all the time where it's like a person romantically recommending like places to go, and it's literally just all of the top tourist spots. Anna even has like a little checklist of things to do at Oxford in her diary. Again, adding to this idea that she's treating her Oxford, university time as just a little holiday. She probably got all of those from an Instagram reel recommendation. I feel like this film is going to be responsible for so many people's like Paris syndrome about going to England and going to Oxford. They're going to come to England and they're going to say, wait, where is my English rich poetry-loving hunk of a husband? Where is he? I thought I would get one if I came here. Jamie, the poetry teacher love interest, is like an American's idea of a British man. Again, apparently the original writer of the book did go to Oxford, so maybe she like based this character off of like a real man that she met. But it gets to a point where this character of Jamie has been filtered through so many different American writers and producers that we're literally just left with this pulp of like a concept of a British man. He's got the Hugh Grant bumbling like posh thing. He loves poetry. He's like dark academia. He's like Mr. Darcy. Also, he's extremely rich as well. This doesn't represent any man in Britain. Okay. Again, this film just feels like fan fiction. It's just this like pie in the sky idea of a British man. It's also very strange how this film romanticizes like the British upper class lifestyle. Like Jamie is very rich and his parents are like Downton Abbey level rich. In fact, they're probably richer than Downton Abbey. We just like roll with it. Like, yeah, of course he's really rich. Of course he has a stately home. He's British. Doesn't every British man have that? This film is like Saltburn if Saltburn was straight and boring. Jamie's old money background never really gets presented as a negative at all, not even a little bit. It's all presented as Anna finally gets to be free and she lets her hair down, she can finally live as she wants to. Like, immediately looking at his dad, I can say, that man voted for Conservative Party. Yeah, probably voted for Boris Johnson. I wonder how the family got so rich. I wonder where all that old money came from. The way in which Jamie is presented to us as a viewer is almost as if, like, if you were to go to England, this is the man that you have to seek out. And at some point, Anna does try to engage with other British men, but they're way too brash for her. They're way too rowdy and annoying. Jamie is the only man for her. He's well-spoken and posh. He's extremely wealthy, but he loves the pub. He has a rich family. He has a home in Oxford and a stately home. He drives a really fancy car. He takes her to an actual ball. He has a lot of ex-girlfriends, but that's okay because he's charming and he's British. He's well-read And he's teaching a class at Oxford. And he's trying to get with one of his students. Yeah, okay. There's a lot to unpack with that one. Let's talk about it.
When was this printed, Professor?
So a big problem that I've seen people have with this story, even before it was adapted into a film, is that this relationship, being a student and teacher relationship, is inherently a problematic power dynamic that the film's plot just completely brushes aside. And it just makes the entire vibe of the film extremely icky. And I know that this phrase gets thrown around quite a lot, but it really feels like it's glamorizing this kind of relationship. Like, yes, have a relationship with your teacher, kiss him on the bonnet of his car in the rain, and then ride that car with sunglasses and headscarf on. Yes. This is especially weird when you consider that there are real life cases of teacher on student sexual harassment, even at Oxford University. I've even seen people go as far as to say that the film should be boycotted because it's a complete mistreatment of this kind of situation. Okay, so let's do a rundown between this poetry teacher and his student. First of all, I should clarify that he is technically not a professor. He doesn't have the qualification of Oxford professor. He is filling in for the professor. He is a doctorate student, but in the grand scheme of things, he is teaching her this course the whole semester, so he might as well be her professor. There's not really much difference. In the beginning of the film, when Jamie walks in and it turns out that these two know each other and they start talking, it's like they're low-key flirting in front of everyone. There's no actual teaching going on. They're doing it all out in the open. And he's like, "Oh, Anna, wouldn't you enjoy a nice piece of cake?" And she's like, "No, I don't want a piece of cake." And it's this whole thing of like, oh, he's British and he's arrogant, he's so annoying, but I love him. And then later the next day, she goes to his office to show him an assignment that she's working on, and it's a very weird conversation. It's very flirty again. He's like talking to her like, "What kind of love poetry do you like? Pick out your favourite love poem." And then they like talk about love poetry. And they do this like close up of his hand as well as he gives the books to her. They are really trying hard to do like another Mr. Darcy hand thing, and it's just not working. I think that this whole situation is highly inappropriate. They're having one-on-one discussions about love poetry and they're getting all close. Again, there's no actual teaching going on. And then later on in the film, after they do their whole like mysterious kebab business, she offers Jamie to come back to her place, and she, no joke, says, "Would you like to come upstairs for some tea and crumpet?" Again, this film and crumpets. What is your obsession with crumpets? But after Anna offers, Jamie goes, "No, I shouldn't." And then he like walks off into the Oxford night. And it's all mysterious. It's almost like, why does he not want to go through with it? What's going on? At this point in the film, I thought there was going to be at least a little bit of conflict. Like maybe Jamie is a little bit hesitant to date his student. Also at this point in the narrative, we do assume that Jamie has a girlfriend. Like Anna sees him with this other girl and she assumes that he has a girlfriend. So she would be guilty about that. But no, that's not the reason why Jamie is hesitant to get into a relationship with Anna. You see, Jamie has a secret. Oh, it's so mysterious, isn't it? It's so mysterious. Next time we see these two both in class, Jamie ends up taking her to like this really old Oxford library with really old books in it. This scene, guys, is just so weird. They write Anna as one of those people that like loves books, and she says that she loves the smell of old books. And like, girl, me too. But Anna, she's got her face like fully planted in this book and she's snorting up the 100-year-old dust. In fact, earlier in the film, she does say, "I have a library fetish," which is supposed to be a joke, but like the way she's treating this book, I don't think is a joke.
Why did you choose Oxford?
I have a library fetish.
Also, her reaction to walking into the library is priceless. She again does the whole, wow. This scene takes a sensual tone as the two are like together, and remember, libraries are supposed to be quiet, so they have to get really close together, and like they're like really close. And then she like whispers to Jamie really sensually, "When was this book printed, Professor?" Ooh, don't like it. Don't say professor. Don't like that. No. Also, this library that they're filming in is the same library that they filmed the Harry Potter films. And how dare these two ruin the sanctity of this library? this beautiful library. Skipping a bit through the film, like 15 minutes, we get to a moment where Jamie is actively avoiding Anna and she's like really angry about it. She doesn't know why he's avoiding her. Like throughout the film, Jamie is like on and off again. You know, he's hot, then he's cold, he's yes and he's no. So, okay, she goes to his large posh house and she barges in. She's expecting that he's gonna be cheating, but he's not. He's in bed and he's connected to an IV drip because he has a rare genetic disease and he is dying. Yep, yep. Oh, and Cecilia isn't his lover, she is actually his carer. And Cecilia dated Jamie's brother, who also died of the same condition. And as I was watching this bit of the film, I did have to get up and take a break. It just hits you like a ton of bricks. It's important to note that leading up to this point in the film, it has been very Richard Curtis rom-com style. It goes from like funny quips about crumpets to like deep, emotional, complex grief. It's really quite a lot. Jamie, we learn, is in fact dying of his condition and he's in conflict with his family because he doesn't want to take the experimental treatment. You know, his brother died of the same condition and he went through a very traumatic time, and Jamie doesn't want to do that, he wants to die naturally. And this is like the main conflict in the film going forward. The conflict that Anna wants to stay with Jamie as long as she can. And she wants to give up her job at Goldman Sachs with Rishi Sunak after she graduates, so that she can spend more time with Jamie. It's all very, I don't have much time left, don't waste your life on me, just leave me.
No, I love you because you're rich and handsome.
That is a joke. Anna doesn't really talk like that. In fact, on this topic, I think the character of Anna does have a really weird cadence normally. Every time she speaks, it's like a dramatic statement. I don't know, it feels very Meghan Markle coded, because every time she speaks, she goes, I love you. And as she says it, she's like dramatically serving face the whole time as well.
I love Oxford University. Poetry feeds me.
It really makes it hard to take anything that she says seriously.
We could go together.
Together? I don't know, Professor, that sounds rather serious. I'm only looking for fun.
Okay, here's what I think about this whole plotline twist of Jamie having a genetic disease, okay? I just think that it's really dumb and it's really lazy. Not only is it very sloppily done, like writing, tonally, but I can't help but feel this love interest is dying so you have to feel sorry for him thing is a complete deflection away from how screwed up this relationship really is. It's like the script realised how creepy this relationship dynamic was, so then to distract, it just like threw a wrench into the plot and was like, and he's dying. Yep. That'll distract you. I don't feel sympathy. He's dating a student and he's really posh and annoying. And it kind of becomes that classic trope of like, I'm dying, so you'll be the last love I'll ever have before I go.
Take me to see the garden. One last time.
After this whole I'm dying thing gets fleshed out, Anna and Jamie go to Jamie's family estate, which is massive, and Anna's friends are there, and they're once again not acknowledging how creepy this relationship is. The glamorization of this kind of upper class lifestyle is making me feel like this film was written by a massive fan of the royal family. You don't have this much love for upper class people if you're not a fan of the royal family. We don't question the power imbalances of this man being very rich and using his influence on this girl. It's just like, we're rich, yes, let's have fun, I love being rich, yeah. Jamie does eventually tell Anna's friend group about his genetic condition and that he's dying. And again, we're back at this like really weird rom-com style where like none of the friends actually take it seriously. They just make a big joke out of it. Like the gay best friend character just goes, okay, well, let's get this party started. And it's like, really, that's how you're dealing with this part of the film? This film really doesn't know how to tackle this kind of situation. It just has to make a joke. But then 5 minutes later, it's like really dramatic. Pick a lane. Like either you can be rom-com or either you can be really dramatic and grief-stricken. Anna does officially turn down her job at Goldman Sachs, which gets Jamie to be really angry at her because he doesn't want that for her. So they're not on good terms for a little bit, but now we're approaching the end of the film and Anna is graduating from Oxford. They eventually make up with each other, you know, they're lovers again, and there's this like passionate love scene. After this passionate love scene, Anna wakes up the morning after with Jamie next to her, and she leans over, and Jamie fucking died. No, I'm just joking, he didn't die. I did think that he died just from the look of him because he's really pale, and I thought that he did in fact die after having sex, which is quite funny. You know, the morning after he's like Gwyneth Paltrow in Contagion, he's just like... I don't know what it says about me that I found this part of the film funny. I've seen a lot of genuine reactions to the, you know, final bit of the film being very, you know, emotional. People are watching this film crying, and I did cry, but I cried with laughter at the audacity of it, the audacity of Netflix. The last few minutes of the film, Jamie is in bed with an IV drip, and he's with Anna, and they are like daydreaming about all of the travels across Europe that they could have had together. I did think that this bit of the film was quite sweet, like yes, they finally get to live their European Pinterest board fantasy. I would have liked it better if, you know, it wasn't a student and a teacher relationship, but, you know, to each his own. The book that this film is based on has a slightly different ending. Like, they leave it a lot more open-ended, where we're not sure when Jamie dies, but we do get to see them actually going on that European trip. But in the film, they're like, no, he's dead, never went on a European trip. He died. The Netflix film is very adamant about that. R.I.P. Jamie, I guess? No, that is pretty sad, actually. I'm not that heartless. I can recognise that it is quite sad. So after Jamie dies, Anna goes on to stay at Oxford, and she goes on to teach the poetry class that Jamie used to teach. It kind of gets handed over to her, which doesn't make any sense because she literally just graduated, and they're like, oh, you graduated, here's the class. You get to teach the class immediately. Like, is this how Oxford University works? Does the last person that the teacher had a relationship with go on to teach the class? I mean, if that's the case, sign me up. I want to go to Oxford. That sounds like a great deal. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole film. A bit of a weird film. I didn't plan on making a video about this. I watched it only a few days ago, and as I was watching it, I was literally thinking, oh my god, this film bothers me so much that I have so much to say about it. I haven't seen anyone else make a video about this film. You know, if you share my opinions about this film, comment below. What did you think about the film if you've watched it? And also, if you've read the book, leave some comments on the book. I've never read the book. That'd be interesting to read. If there's any other films that you want me to watch, comment those below. Let's start a discussion. And yeah, subscribe, like, become a member if you want to become a member, then you get your name in the credits. Thank you for pulling through and watching this whole video on this horrible film. I'll see you next time.
Hi. I would like to order some fish and chips, please.
Haddock?
A duck? No. Fish.
Yeah, haddock. Or cod. Or saveloy.
I'm not, just fish and chips?
Large?
Large. Yes.
8.50, 5 minutes.
Great.